I wanted to make a shorter video of the lore and story of the Ivalice Raid series because it's a lot of story to read and take in. After finishing it, I wanted to watch something to help me digest what I had gone through and kind of summarize basically what I had been through to help me understand. And there just wasn't a video, so I decided to make one because I felt like a lot of people felt the same way I did in regards to how long it was, but also how much was kept out from being based on Final Fantasy XII and tactics. Here is a very basic rundown of the Ivalice Raid series in Final Fantasy XIV. The story begins with a theater ship and a daughter looking for her missing father. Her name is Alma. Alma explains they are Garleans trying to restore their name, and that her father is looking for a place called Ivalice, hence the name of the series. The play they write on their ship is about someone named Delita, who became a hero and founded Ivalice. Their father is trying to find Ivalice to clear their name as they have a connection to royalty that founded Ivalice, and he believes they were removed from history. But why? That's why he wants to find Ivalice. Their father, while out looking for Ivalice, would bring back Oricite and tomes from time to time. Apparently the Oricite spoke to them, and we eventually meet Ramza, Alma's brother. Ramza doesn't really explain much and mostly just sucks. Like a lot. We eventually find their father, and he has a shiny Oricite stone and book with him. Some crocodiles attempt to take the stone and book while threatening father. No clue who they are, or what they intend to do with that stuff, but we go ahead and give it to them. We learn that father, or Genomius' real name is Arzalma Durai. He found a journal called the Durai Papers, which has helped them gain knowledge into the Oricite stones they found and assisting in their attempts to find Ivalice. Genomius explains that this Oricite does not facilitate possession of someone, but rather absorbs their aether and transforms it before returning it to them. We learn that Genomius named his children after an old story to help him not forget the siblings involved in finding Ivalice, named Ramza and Alma, and they worked with Delita in finding Ivalice. These people in the past were part of an important history that could clear their names and bring them royalty, and the Durai Papers were written by someone called Oran Durai, or Genomius' ancestor. We learn further from the wonderful Makoto that the Oricite can be imprinted and manifest their deepest desires along with changing their aether. We also learn that Alma has been hearing voices, one of the Oricites on the ship. Ramza still just sucks. After learning about the Oricite, the Crocs eventually ask for assistance because their leader appears to have been possessed by the shiny stone they stole, which we believe to be Oricite. They return the journal they stole, and we learn that they were part of the Damascan army. They were tasked with keeping a Princess Ashella away from the war with the Garleans, but they happened to fail. Now, there's a tension on the ship since the ship is Garlean, but we seem to be okay for the time. They believe the crystal is tempting their leader's heart and twisting him into a monster. Now, we go to this lighthouse, and we find their leader at this lighthouse, and we find that he is indeed transforming into a monster through the influence of this Oricite. After watching their leader partially transform, we return to the ship, and it is pointed out that Alma has on a necklace similar to their leader, and he never let it out of his sight. After defeating the Croc's leader in the lighthouse after he is transformed by the Oricite, we find a similar necklace on the ground, and Ramza touches it. Ramza appears to be possessed after touching it, but we don't really care because he sucks and now he's kinda nice, so it's a good change. We learn the necklaces are also Oricite. The Oricite in these necklaces was meant to guide us to Ivalice, and was empowered by the former Ramza. Current Ramza, after being possessed, tells us that the Oricite is testing us before allowing us to be shown Ivalice. Alma begins to show signs of illness after a period of time. Current Ramza, now possessed, indicates something called the Lukavi are born from Oricite and are demons. It is believed that the Ramza of the past, one that would clear their name, was attempting to rid the world of these demons. We learn old Ramza would take on the being that created the Oricite, named Ultima, the High Seraph. This Ultima is located beneath a monastery where Alma and Oran Durai would marry and would start the family that the theater troupe is looking to connect themselves to prove their royalty and clear their name. This monastery is located in the Golmore jungle. However, the location is protected by Viera, and we need to find one and recruit them to our cause to get in. Wagi, one of the Crocs, came to see if we would meet him somewhere and meet their leader, which in turn we meet the Viera named Fran from Final Fantasy XII. Fran is our key to getting into Golmore jungle and is looking for this monastery. After attempting to assist Fran, we gain her trust, and she provides us with the location of the monastery. However, during our preparations, we learn that the High Seraph has been beckoning Alma through the Oricite on the ship. Alma appears to be possessed by one of the Lukavi and is teleported away to an unknown location, one we hope is near the monastery in Golmore jungle. Possessed Alma meets us at the doorsteps of the jungle. Makoto gave us a device to hopefully separate the Auracite demon from Alma, saving her. However, then Ramza is taken away by something too, speaking about the blood of the Invokers. After returning to the ship, we learned that old Ramza was a warrior of light himself. He heeded the crystal's call to Ultima, but unable to defeat it, he sacrificed himself to the Aether to imprison Ultima, and had his name wiped from history so no one could seek it out until a warrior of light was ready to finish the job. Hence, current Ramza is being called Blood of the Invokers, as his bloodline is matching that of the same that invoked their prison. So the same crystal that led Ramza to the High Seraph was turned into the necklaces that the leader of the Crocs and Alma were wearing. These were intended to call us to the monastery to defeat the High Seraph. Oran-Durai, the ancestor to their father, married Alma Beluv, Ramza's sister, and are their ancestors. Durai wrote the Durai Papers we're reading today to help decipher the information we need to take down and find the High Seraph. Due to this, and of his own request, Ramza was written out of history, but remained in the Durai Papers. Now, this was so no one could find the High Seraph, but when somebody was ready, they could read the Durai Papers to write history, correct history, and defeat the High Seraph to save the planet from these Lucavi. Now, because of this, Durai and Alma were associated with the Durai Papers, which told something different from the real history, I'm doing air quotes, written in Ivalice, and because of this, they were written out as well, and they were all branded as bad people. Now, this kind of links everything together. Why Ramza was removed from history, why his family was not mentioned, and it clears their names of any wrongdoing, as they were simply protecting the world as they saw fit, to draw in a new warrior of light to finish the job that Ramza had started to save the world from the Lucavi. We finally learn that the High Seraph is the one who captured current Ramza in an attempt to lure the warrior of light, or us, to claim our vessel. Now, we climb to the bottom of the monastery to defeat the High Seraph, as she is actively summoning in more Auracite or Lucavi. There's a moment that old Ramza thanks us for our deed, and after sacrificing himself, gets to go off and rest in peace with his friend Delita, his sister Alma, and his comrade Oran. In the finale, Genomus chooses not to tell the story in fact, but rather through a play, adding more to their theater and allowing them to share it through their own means. Seems kind of a lot of trouble to just write another play, but you know, that's okay. Alright guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the journey through Ivalice Raids. I had a ton of fun going through it the first time, but I was a little confused, and so hopefully by putting this together, doing some research, and being able to tell the story in a concise way was fun for you guys as well. If you guys enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.